This is Tyrese Halliburton, and you're listening to Setting the Pace.
What is going on, Pacer Nation? Welcome back to another episode here of your go-to Pacers podcast, Setting the Pace. I'm your host, Alex Golden, and unfortunately today, Michael J. Facci will not be joining us, but someone that actually has more pep in his step, someone that brings more energy than Facci on a regular basis, it's our guy, Cammy. Cammy, what's up, buddy? How are you?
Yeah, fortunately, Facci won't be here, so I'm here. I'm a substitute. I'm the sixth man, as they say, coming off the bench, giving that spark. I'm ready, man. Let's do it. We got a lot to talk about. For sure, we got a lot to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, you haven't had a chance to really share your thoughts on this offseason and what's gone down for the Pacers, so I wanted to give you this opportunity to kind of have this platform to share your thoughts on the man that is on that poster right behind you, a former Pacer and current Milwaukee Buck, Myles Turner.
Yeah, last time I talked to you on this platform, we were very different. It was very different circumstances. We were one win away from the NBA Finals, and it was a bit. The team looked very different. We'll say that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you look at the team going into the final, going into the playoffs last year, and then the team going into this upcoming season. It's like, what happened, man? Did Mercury go in retrograde? What happened? But yeah, about this poster, I bought this poster in around mid 2021, around the lottery season, the one where we made the play-in.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I think we started that season off hot. Then we had a bunch of losses. Then I think we lost one game to the Timberwolves by a lot of points, and I was like, this team is really stressing me out. I don't want to watch this team. And then my friend was like, you don't have to watch them. I'm like, you're right, man. I'm going to tune out for the rest of the season. But I made one last contribution. I bought this off NBA.com discounted for, I think, $9.99. And ever since then, it's been hanging up in my room, and now I don't know what to do with it.
Do we want to take it down on the episode right now? Do we want to have a goodbye moment to Myles Turner?
Can we save that? We'll do it. We'll do it.
We'll do it at the end. Okay. So if you're watching on YouTube,
we'll do it at the end.
Cammy's going to have to part with Myles Turner as he parted with the Pacers. So it's a nice.
I mean, I don't know if you see the tape there, it's kind of wearing out anyway.
Yeah.
So it might be due for we might be due for a replacement on that wall.
Yeah, he might have wore out his welcome too. I mean, that's the thing here with Myles Turner. 10 years in one place, a long time. What are your thoughts though on the Pacers not having Myles Turner moving forward? Like, what do you think about their center rotation?
I mean, in terms of the center rotation, I think for contention, it's not good. I mean, I think people who say that we can go center by committee for when Tyrese comes back and we have that 2-year window to contend, I think it's a bit of homerism, and I'm a big homer. I'm a bigger homer than anybody else. I mean, I just bought the number 2, the Nimhard. I got me let me show you. I went shopping recently. I got me a Matherin.
All right.
Got me a Neesmith.
Okay.
And I actually bought this at the stadium. I got a Pascal with me.
Let's go.
So I'm all in for this upcoming season, but I do have my limits. I think the center rotation is fantastic for the backups. Like, I love the idea of having Jackson off the bench and then Huff as the third string and then James Wiseman as injury insurance. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that can only go for this year when we're not really trying to compete. Now, of course, the front office won't say that we're gonna, throw this year away. But this is a bridge year. This is a gap year. This is like the Pacers just graduated high school, and now they want to see what their options are. Maybe they're going to go work for a year before they enter college, going to save up their tuition money. Yeah.
I like that comparison. That's a good one.
Yeah, that's basically exactly what it is.
Yeah.
So I think we can afford the center rotation for this upcoming year, especially since they're making like barely above $10 million. I think Isaiah's making $7 million. Huff is making less than $3 million. James is making the minimum, and then Bradley is probably going to get cut before the end of the season, I'm assuming. He's just there for James and Isaiah to get better, I'm assuming.
That's kind of how I view it. He could even be cut before training camp if those guys are ready to go by the start of the season. Figure out what you want to do there. I mean, there's options there with the Tony Bradley contract because it is it's not guaranteed until January. So
how many roster spots do we have?
Right now, they're currently at 15 guys, so they don't have any technical roster spots for the start of the season, but you can have up to 21 players on your roster heading into training camp. And I think right now they've got two-ways signed as well with Ray J and Quentin. So they haven't decided yet on the third one, whether that's going to be Enrique Freeman or Talon Peter, but they could just bring one on an Exhibit 10 deal and bring them to camp as well. So still some options there, but let's talk about what you just said, that you don't feel like this is a team that has a center that can be a starter on a championship level team. So with that being said, is there a center out there on the market that you would want the Pacers to target and try to bring in?
I got three of them.
Okay.
I got three of them. My number one, and probably the best case scenario, is Jared Allen, because in terms of guys who, it's going to be hard finding a shot blocker who can space the floor. It's going to be hard finding that. It's going to be because Myles, technically, from a production standpoint, it doesn't pop off to you, but from a skill set standpoint, a guy who can protect the rim and a guy who can space the floor, those guys are valuable. So from what we can't get from floor spacing with Myles, we can get with vertical spacing with Allen, because he's going to be a legitimate pick and roll lob threat for Tyrese. He's also a good free throw shooter, and he's also a decent mid-range shooter. He's also a pretty good defender and a good rebounder. So that would be one. And I think if Cleveland does not win the title this upcoming year, Allen is going to be the first one of the core to go. I think they keep Mobley, because I think Mobley's the best player on the team, personally. Okay. I think they keep Mobley, and I think they probably keep Mitchell. I think Garland's going to go because of the injuries. I think that's something that's not in his control.
Yeah.
But Allen is the odd man out right now, I think.
Okay.
So I think they'll try 1 year with Allen, and if it's not working out, they're going to trade him, and that's where we come in. Second guy I want to get is from Miami, Kel'el Ware. I really like Kel'el Ware.
Now let me ask you this.
Really?
Let me ask you about him, because Spoelstra had some kind of harsh comments about Kel'el Ware recently.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, talking about his professionalism.
Not giving effort. Not giving effort in Summer League, too. I saw that. He's not being the guy that he can be, basically. They're saying he should be babying these guys in Summer League, but he's kind of nonchalant with it. Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah.
I've heard of that. And I think because we know what the Heat's attitude is, we know what Heat culture is, quote unquote. We know how strict they are, especially Spo. You know, they have like the body fat tests and all that stuff, you know, the puke drills and everything.
Yeah.
So if you're not going to buy into the culture, then you're probably going to be shipped out of there, right?
Right. That's a good point. Now, does he fit the Pacers culture?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Pacers culture. And can I talk a little bit about Ayton? Can I talk a little bit about him real quick? Yeah. That's why I think Ayton made a mistake personally signing for the Lakers, because I don't think his personality's built for it. I don't think he's built for it. I think it's a big Michael Beasley situation where he's going to be with the bright lights and he's going to kind of doze off, kind of coast a little bit. And I already know JJ doesn't like him. He's made fun of him plenty of times on his podcast.
Oh God.
And we know Ayton, the guy with the skill set, and the guy we see on the floor are not the same people. He should be an all-star right now, but he's not. And in LA, with all those bright lights around you, how ruthless those fans are, I don't think he's going to pan out. If he came here, where Rick would have been like, hey, man, you got 1 year to prove yourself, and then we're going to be back into contention. It's going to be like you and CP3 again, except this guy's younger, right? Younger and a little bit more athletic than CP3. So use this 1 year to find yourself, and then next year you better be ready to give it your all. So that's why I kind of wish, for Ayton's sake, that he came here. But I'm not losing sleep over him not coming here. I don't really care.
Was he more like an honorable mention?
Honorable mention. Yes. Okay. But in terms of Ware, I think if he's not buying in to Miami, then fine. Okay, you know what? It's not for you. If you can't buy into Indiana, you shouldn't be in the league. That's what I truly believe.
Yeah, I'll say this about Kel'el Ware. Like, you have to remember, he was in Oregon, right? He was at Oregon, and he transferred to Indiana University to play for Mike Woodson. And there was obviously, I think him and Dana Altman kind of like butted heads a little bit because of his work ethic. And I think Woodson kind of got the best out of him, even though there was a lot of times as an IU fan, I remember kind of getting frustrated with him because he was so, up and down. And now Eric Spoelstra, who is labeled as probably the best coach in the NBA, or one of the best coaches in the NBA, he's having to make like statements to the media about him. Like, that's intentional. Eric Spoelstra doesn't just do that to do that. I think he's trying to send a message to Ware, because Ware's got the talent to be great, but he's got to put the mindset to it. So I think that's going to be really interesting to see what happens with him, just in a professional standpoint, not even just for the Pacers being a potential target. But you said you had 3 names.
For his career.
Yes, for his career overall. But you said you had 3 names. So who is the third name that you have?
I think you kind of know who the third name is because I've been talking about him and bigging him up quite a bit on Twitter. It's Isaiah Hartenstein. That's the third guy. It's Hartenstein. And the reason why is because, again, it's like a Jared Allen situation. After this year, he's going to be the odd man out. And that's even if OKC repeats. Even if they repeat, he's probably gone. Because, with the 3 big contracts they signed to their top 3, they're not going to have a lot of money left for their core. Not their core, but their supporting guys.
Yeah.
And by that, we mean Dort's probably going to be gone soon, but they have like Caruso and they have Wiggins and Casey Wallace to take his place. Hartenstein's probably going to be gone soon, but then they have Jalen Williams and the young center that they have. I forgot his name, but I think he was drafted recently. Him. They have him to take his place. With Hartenstein,
Thomas Sorber.
I saw Thomas Sorber. Sorber. Yes, him. With Hartenstein, I see sort of an upgraded version of what Tyrese used to play with in Sacramento, Rashawn Holmes.
Uh-huh.
The short roll game, the pick and roll. I mean, you saw Hartenstein in that second round against us last year. He floated us to death. That little push shot from the free throw line, 15-foot region. Yeah. I mean, because the thing we were so mad about with Myles, other than rebounding, was just touch. It was a touch issue. Because Myles, if he got to the rim, he would hopefully try to dunk on you, but it would sometimes just result in a little like a bad hand would going up to the rim and he just missed it. He get fouled or he just smoked the layup entirely. And that's the thing I hated most about Myles. He just never developed like a real mid-range game. And by mid-range game, I mean those little floaters, those little push shots, those little like free throw line like jimmies, the bunnies. Basically, the bunnies. He never developed that. Hartenstein is amazing at those. The little bunnies, he can protect the rim, and he's a pretty good mid-range shooter. Now, the three-point shooting won't be there, and you can argue that he kind of did get played off the court a little bit in the finals, but at this point, when we're probably never going to get a 1-to-1 Myles replacement unless we get where and he breaks out. But I think Hartenstein could be great to, again, be a pick and roll, pick and pop threat from the mid-range, 18 feet, 15 feet, get the hook shot going, and then also rebound. He's a pretty good rebounder, and he can also protect the rim a little bit. So those are my 3, Jared Allen, Kel'el Ware, and Isaiah Hartenstein.
Is Hartenstein your number 1?
In terms of skill, so I have 3 number 1s, which is funny enough. In terms of skill, like ready-made skill, it would be Allen because he's the biggest finished product.
Yeah.
In terms of number 1, in terms of potential, it would be Kel'el Ware because what he could be in his skill set in the future, And in terms of realisticness, what's the most realistic? It's Hartenstein.
Okay, so you kind of have them like pigeonholed into like different categories there. So
exactly,
that's interesting. I mean, I don't dislike any of those names. I think all of those names make sense. I wonder if we're underselling Isaiah Jackson just a little bit because we didn't see him at all last year and the growth that he took in year 2, I believe it was. Because I thought he was really good the previous year against the Knicks in that playoff series, and I even think he had some decent moments against Boston. It was just he was kind of stuck behind Jalen Smith because Jalen Smith decided he wanted to shoot like 50% from 3 for half the season. So it was hard to take Jalen off the floor because of how well he was shooting. But I do believe that Isaiah Jackson could be, poised for a breakout season, and he's only going to get a bunch of confidence by, getting this opportunity here. And I'm really excited to see what he can do. But I understand what you're saying. Like, it does still feel like you maybe need to get some more depth there because even if Jay Huff or James Wiseman's your second guy, that doesn't feel great. So, I mean, I'm curious to see what happens with Jay Huff, right? But, like, at the end of the day, these are guys on minimum contracts for a reason.
Now, I'll say this about Jackson, and I love him. I think he was great in the New York series, the second round series, because he was the one guy who could go up there, grab a rebound. He wasn't afraid to push guys around. I love that. But here's the thing, and that's a huge but. Jackson, in a way, reminds me of center McConnell. You know what I mean?
Okay.
McConnell, but as a center. And what I mean by that is he's going to go in, he's going to give you 15 to 20 great minutes. He's going to spell you when the other guys are fatigued or if somebody's hurt. But if you're relying on him to be your full-time starting center, you're going to have issues because I'm looking at the stats right now. Isaiah Jackson averaged for his career, he's averaging 6 fouls per 36 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Which is an issue, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
6 fouls per 36 minutes. Yeah. And another thing about him is that I just don't think he's disciplined enough to be a full-time starter for a championship contending team.
Mm-hmm.
I love him. I think he'd be maybe the best backup center in the league. But in terms of discipline, in terms of the fact that he is around 6'10", I believe, and he also can't shoot the three that well, and his mid-range is just getting there, I think for his career, he's shooting about 67% from the line, which is okay for a center. But in terms of somebody who, I think with Tyrese, you need somebody who can hit a mid-range. And Isaiah's just not there at that level to consistently hit that mid-range. And I think, well, this year he can do whatever the heck he wants because he's going to have free reign. I mean, take 50 shots if you want. I don't care. You know? If I can, you know those Mitchell Robinson? You know those Mitchell Robinson open gym highlights where he's playing like a my player, the crossover everywhere, and taking like fadeaway threes? You can do that for all I care. You know what? Just show your bag, man. If he goes out and he averages like 10 and 10 or something, and he shoots like 35% from deep, then that's a really good backup center. But I don't think he can do that. I think 10 and 10 is possible, but I think he will shoot some threes, but in terms of making them, not the most efficient. Again, and now I'll say this. If we could combine his skill set and Huff's skill set, that would be great. We just found our next starting center. But
you got all-star Myles Turner if you got that.
Yeah, you got. Remember when we said Gogo was a combination of Sabonis' offense and Miles' defense? Remember that? Remember when we said that?
I definitely
you
said
remember
that
that back
during
in
the
the
draft
day?
process.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It would be kind of like that. But did that end up happening? No. Will this end up happening? No. I love my team. I love my guys, but I got to be realistic. Isaiah would be a fantastic backup center. Huff would be probably the best third-string center in the league. Again, if we find a good starting caliber center, we could have the best center rotation in the league. Like we just need like a top 15-ish center, the best backup center in the league, and the best third stringer in the league, and then Wiseman, who we can give some time to this year and see if we want to keep him on. I still got a little bit of hope in him.
All right, well, let me just ask you this quickly because you brought up Mitchell Robinson. If the Pacers were to go out and get Mitchell Robinson as their starting center and play Isaiah Jackson as the backup, do you not like that combination? No
shooting. No shooting at all. Absolutely no shooting. Yeah. Because Mitchell is a negative floor spacer. He's a negative floor spacer. I don't think he's a worse floor spacer than DeAndre Jordan somehow. I've never seen Mitchell Robinson take a jump shot in my life. I don't know what his jump shot looks like in a game. If you showed me every Mitchell Robinson game and told me to make his jump shot in 2K, I'd have nothing for you. I couldn't give you anything. Yeah. I'd be like Santa. I have no gifts, you know? But, yeah. But with Robinson, he's a fantastic roller. He's a really good screen setter, and he's a dynamite shot blocker. He's a great offensive rebounder, too. He gave us fits. He babied Myles a lot in that conference finals. You know he did. We had to send in Bradley to spell a little bit of that, and just because Bradley will put his hands on guys and just be like, nope, that's my rebound, or not even just like deflect it out of bounds so they don't get a second chance points.
Yeah,
he's great at that, but I think with Mitchell's play style, he will be a forever backup, and not just because of the play style, because of the injuries. He's not durable. You know this.
Yeah,
he's not durable at all. I don't want a guy who's going to play like 50 games per season, and when it comes to the playoffs, he's dealing with his back, or he's dealing with his hip, or he's dealing with his knee. And with his play style, which is very up and down, run the floor, that's going to be hard. Myles was already the last guy down the floor in plenty of possessions for us. He was the one guy who kind of looked like the odd man out in the pace and space lineup that we ran because he'd always take the longest time getting on the floor. Now replace him with a guy who's going to be on the floor for half the season. It's just not a good look, man. It just isn't. I don't like Mitchell Robinson, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, and if you saw Buck's Twitter today, they were saying that Giannis and Miles can run the floor and transition together. So I just thought that was pretty funny. Kimmy about spit his water out over here. Yeah, there was a Bucks page that was talking about Miles and Giannis leading the Bucks in transition, and I just thought that was pretty funny. I know Brook Lopez is not the fastest, but I don't think Myles Turner is much closer to foot speed there than Brook Lopez. But let's go into a different topic here now, because I texted you and told you I wanted to talk about a couple different things, and I think the one that I'm most fascinated by is something we've kind of just glossed over this entire offseason as everything's gone down, and it's what is the expectations for Pascal Siakam in this upcoming season? He's going to be the face of the franchise, going to be the number one go-to scorer that teams are going to scout for every night. He's not going to have these scout teams taking off any of the pressure by worrying about Halliburton. It's going to be a totally different, game plan to try to stop the Pacers because of what they know Pascal can do and how good he was last year. So I'm kind of curious, what are your thoughts on this upcoming season, and what are your expectations for Pascal Siakam?
Well, this season is very interesting for Pascal because he's 31, right? And he's
That's not
coming into
old.
the second year of his contract,
Second year of his
and he
contract, and he's
signed
not
for
old.
4 years, right?
4-year extension. Yep.
Okay, so 4-year extension, and by the time Tyrese comes back, he's going to be what, 32?
Yep.
Yeah, by the time Tyrese comes back, he's going to be 32. Now, I'm not really worried age-wise for Pascal at all because, number one, he got into basketball late, and number two, this past season, 31, where a lot of players are declining, he just had his best season yet. And now, not in terms of scoring and like statistically, but in terms of skill-wise, this was his best season. I think it was his best shooting season, and it was probably his best defensive season outside of that 2019 year with Kawhi because he was locking up a lot in the playoffs. Now, for this upcoming season, we've seen what Pascal can do with his own team. Now, he led the Raptors for 2021 to I think 3 years. He led the Raptors for 3 years, and 2 of those years he made the playoffs. Now, when we dissect those 2 teams that made the playoffs, one was in 2020 where they just lost Kawhi, and one was in 22 when they, I think, won 2 games against the Sixers in the first round. That was after the Tampa year.
Mm-hmm.
Now, our team, talent-wise, I think we're under that 2020 team, but over that 2022 team. I think we're better than that 2022 team because that team started Precious Achiuwa, and there were a lot of issues with that team otherwise, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, with Pascal, I think he is good enough to be the number one option on a playoff team, and I think this year will show it. I think his efficiency will go down. I think everybody's efficiency will go down without Tyrese because Tyrese being there just opens up the floor for everyone. And while I love Andrew, he has some issues to where I don't think he can be a full-time starting point guard. And I think this season will prove that he can't be that, even though he has to be that. Which is kind of why I wanted us to sign a bridge point guard. Like I really wanted us to go after Lonzo. So just because of continuity reasons, because I didn't want Andrew to be like, I just spent this past year at the point guard. Now you're moving me back to the 2. Now I got to get adjusted to this again.
Yeah, I mean,
But
here's what let me cut you off here for a second because I might not agree with you on the Nimhard, take right there that he can't handle it all season long. I think that it's only going to make him better, and I think after he faces these tougher defenses every single time, I think it's going to make him appreciate even more what Halliburton does when Halliburton does come back. And obviously, you don't want to throw Halliburton right back into the fold of being the number one point guard. So I think you'll probably ease Halliburton back into it once he comes back from that injury in a couple of years. And that's where Nimhard can learn everything this year and kind of still just be a better floor general. But in regards to Pascal, I mean, you bring up some really good points about how he was the number one guy for these Raptors teams for the last couple of years before he got traded. And when they obviously drafted Scotty Barnes, they started shifting who was the face of the franchise and who wasn't, which obviously, in my opinion, Pascal is still a much better player than Scotty Barnes.
he is.
Scotty Barnes is a very gifted player, but I think there's
Flawed. He's
flaws
flawed.
with him. Yes. And so I just think for Pascal, it kind of sounds silly, but I wouldn't change too much. And I would kind of continue to do the same thing. The biggest concern I have with Pascal this season is if Rick Carlisle decides to overplay him minute-wise because they're trying to win more games, and is it really necessary to overtax him in a season where you mentioned earlier it feels like a bridge year? And I think they should try to keep his minutes at the same or even less to make sure he doesn't put too much wear and tear on his body this upcoming year, especially when you're still trying to win, but you're not really going to win a championship without Tyrese Halliburton.
Absolutely. I was saying this. Now, when Tyrese went down, I said funny thing is we're probably still going to be good because our team outside of Tyrese is still really good. Now, people brought up the record that we had without Tyrese, but I was like, that's on short notice. That's because he got injured and we had to quickly adjust. When you give the guys a full training camp without Tyrese, they're going to be better because they're more used to what they have to do. After we lost Myles, that went out the window. I was like, okay, now we don't have a starting quality center. Now just tank the year. Now, I'm not going to openly root for losses. Like, obviously, if the All-Star break comes and we're like the sixth seed, we're out of the play-in, we're the sixth seed, I'm like, all right, screw it, keep winning. Keep winning, get that synergy going, and let's try to shock the world again. But completely agree with you. Because I think Pascal led the league in minutes in Toronto, didn't he?
I think he did.
He led the league in minutes. Yeah, he led the league in minutes. And he went from that to averaging, like 32 minutes a game in Indiana, around that?
Yeah, I mean, Nick Nurse is one of those guys that plays, his players a lot of minutes. And I think that he's kind of got that Thibodeau, type of thing where he would just overtax guys. But yeah, you could tell, like with Carlisle, he was very cognizant of how many minutes he wanted to play Pascal because he knew, like, hey, if we're going to be playing into late June, right, we need our guys to be completely healthy and ready to go because it's a lot of wear and tear. But Rick Carlisle mentioned this on a podcast recently as well. Like, the NBA Finals is great in terms of the schedule because you have more days to recover and relax after you have a heavy game. So it's a lot of wear and tear on the body. I mean, 82 games is a lot, and the Pacers play a ton. I think there was a stat out there. I don't know if you saw this or not, but it was like a graphic, and I think Pascal Siakam was in like the top 2 or 3 in terms of like miles traveled this season.
Yes, he was. I saw that. I definitely did see that. And my thing is, when we're competing, I understand that. But now I need everybody in that organization, in terms of the roster and the coaching staff, to look in the mirror and be like, let's be realistic, guys. This team ain't gonna get it done. This current team, as constructed,
They're not going to do that, Cam. You already know that. They're not going to say that.
They're not going to do that. They're not going to do that, but I really wish they did. I really wish they did, just to conserve the energy for the young guys and for Pascal, someone like Pascal, who is 31, who you got to keep every ounce of good basketball left. You got to keep it. You don't want to risk an injury trying to make the play-in, right?
I mean, that's a fair point. You don't want to risk injury. I get that. I will just say this, like, for the young guys, for the most part, I think they're going to be okay. If you have any like lingering issues,
build their confidence.
Don't push through. Obviously, be a little bit more careful. I think Kevin Pritchard has talked about how they evaluate their injuries and how he would never have let Halliburton play in Game 7 if he knew the severity of it. And I know a lot of people don't want to hear that because Halliburton said he would do it over and over and over again. But Pritchard said he would do it to protect his young player. And you kind of have to wonder now, after suffering 3 Achilles injuries last year with this team, if Pritchard, Chad Buchanan, and that front office is going to be a little bit more vocal with, hey, let's not risk our guys getting hurt, especially next year. Like, that's fine if they want to do that, but the players, I don't want them doing that. I want them to win at the highest level.
Heck no. They're not going to do that. And I don't think we're going to tank. I don't think we're going to tank. Heck no. Because only teams that I think should be tanking are like the Nets and like the Hornets and those guys, the Wizards and teams like that don't have any set future. They just have young guys. If we tank, I think the tank is going to come to us, which basically means that we're going to have a pretty low record at the All-Star break, and then Rick and them are going to be like, all right, let's see what Q-Jax can do. Let's see what Huff can do with longer minutes. Let's just experiment a little bit because this season isn't going anywhere, so let's play some of the younger guys who are going to be here next year, and let's see what we have. Let's show Tyrese. Like, huh? You like this? You like what we're going with?
Yeah.
So I think that's when you look at a guy like Pascal and say, like, hey, we're cutting a few minutes off the top. Skimming off the top a little bit. You play 32 minutes up to this point, you might play 29 now, right? You might play 29. You might not play all the fourth quarters. You might be able to rest a little bit. Go do photography. Go to football games. Go do what it is you like to do. Tyrese comes back, come training camp. You're good, brother. So I'm obviously not going to root for my team to lose games come the start of the season because that would be blasphemy, especially with the amount of talent this team has. But if we're at a point where the playoffs are not realistic, and if they are, it's a Miami Heat type loss last year, then I'm like, all right, guys, you did good. You tried. Q-Jax, get up. J-Huff, get up. Jarris, get up. Let's see something. Talon, get up. Furf, get up. Let's see a little something. Give him a little bit of what the Bulls saw out of like Walt Lemon Jr. and Jakar Sampson in 2019. Let's see a little bit.
Hey, another Jakar Sampson reference on this podcast. We just had one on the last one, so that's back to back Jakar Sampson references. Let's go. Let's never let it stop, ladies and gentlemen. But I do agree with you, Cammy. I think that this is one of those weird seasons where you just kind of have to like be smart about a lot of the decisions you make. Man, chug that water, brother. I mean, looking like Triple H over there.
Yeah.
Not feeling good, are you?
Yeah, I'm a little bit under the weather, but I'm playing. I got my attributes reduced a little bit, but I'm good.
Okay. I'm just saying, like, the energy is not as extreme as it normally is with Cammy. So this has been like Cammy after hours or something, like Cammy after dark.
After dark, it's barely even light in here, as you can see.
I know. I mean, where is the light in this camera? I barely see. I see your cheekbones, and that's about it.
There's a lamp over there.
I see that. That's about all I can see in there. It's because you got so much.
You can see
hair
the
on your
Indy
face.
though.
Yes.
You can see.
There we go. Anyway,
Right.
we're distracted here. Cammy's a very distracting person, but that's okay. That's okay. But no, I think that with Siakam, the role for him this year is to basically just be what he is and not try to change too much because, yeah, you're going to need him to maybe be more of a scorer. And I think that there was times last year that I didn't love the fact that he would have like 18 points in the first half and then get 4 the next half. And they just didn't go to him enough. I understand, like, yeah, teams are going to adjust and make defensive adjustments and try to take him out of the game, but you just got to keep finding ways to get him going. But overall, I think what you were saying about Tyrese, like, do whatever you got to do, just come back healthy next year. The one role that you did not bring up was play GM. Find your voice with other players across the league, because when you come back and you bring this group together and you add that player to this team, that could literally take them back to the NBA Finals. So I just think that
Recruit.
Ask Embiid if he wants to come to Indiana again. Like, obviously we don't want Embiid at this point. I mean, this is a guy that I saw there's like some quotes talking about he might even be closer to retirement than he is anything else because like of his injuries.
Unfortunately,
it's just crazy, man. But like, if you're Tyrese, like, don't be afraid to shoot your shot. I don't think he is. And then real quick, while we're on Tyrese, can you talk to me a little bit about the created character that he made for WWE with TJ McConnell?
Oh, I love that. I'm a serial 2K player. I've been playing 2K since 2K16. I play all the retro ones. And the funny thing is, I'm in all the modding servers, and there's a good chance I've had a conversation with Tyrese before. Because I'm in there all the time, and I'm always talking about stuff like the Pacers, like in the off-topic chats and everything. And I saw the McConnell mod. I'm like, that's not a created wrestler. That's a mod. I know that's a mod, and it looks like it in the face. It looks like a mod. That's not a face capture. Then I'm like, how much did he pay to get that mod commissioned for him and him only? And can he release it for everybody else? Because some of these created wrestlers that I see people make are terrible. And I'm like, if someone could get me a McConnell mod that I would turn into Ken Shamrock or something, I would turn him into Andre the Giant personally. But something like that would be great. So Tyrese, if you're watching this, how much would it cost to make that? I don't know, because that's not somebody. He would have to outsource that.
Okay.
And with him having to outsource that, he would have to go to a special guy, not like the typical modders, because they would probably wouldn't know how to do that. He'd probably have to go to somebody else. And I don't think they'd give him a discount because the guy's a gazillionaire. So they'd probably charge him around $15 to $20 for it. That's what my estimate is.
$15 to $20?
$15 to $20. That's what I'd estimate for the McConnell mod.
Or just $15?
$15 to $20, not $100. Heck no.
So not that much money.
I get my mods for like, not that much. But in terms of what actual mods cost, like, I'll tell you, for my 2K mods, I pay $5 a month. I'm in a couple Discord servers. I pay $5 a month. I have tenure with some of the mods, and some of them I just get for free. They just send them to me.
Okay.
But usually I pay no more than $5 to $10 a month for my mods. So he definitely had to pay, not in like real world money. The guy has enough money to make fun of, point and laugh at all of us. Yeah. But in terms of modding money, that's a little bit extra, a little bit off the top.
You made it seem like it was going to be some outlandish number. Then you're like $15, $20.
The modders know. They know.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. I was kind of wondering how much Tyrese would have spent on this TJ McConnell mod. So that would have been really interesting to me. But let's get back on topic here because there was one more thing I wanted to discuss with you, and we'll kind of go through this semi-quickly over the next 15 minutes. But 3 players, right, that could have breakout seasons this year. And I'll let you just reveal your list, and I'll just kind of share my thoughts on what you have, and then I'm sure we'll be very similar. But if we're not, I'll share my differences. But curious who you had at number 3 in terms of breakout players this year for the Pacers.
Now, is this going from least to most?
Yes, and that number 3, work your way up to number 1.
Okay, so number 3. So usually I'm going up from 1 to 10, so I have to make my list.
You don't want to reveal your number 1 first. That's boring.
I'm not gonna do that. No, I'm not gonna do
work
that.
your
I'll
way up
reveal
to
it.
it.
I'll think about it in my head, and then I'll go 1, 2, 3, and then I'll give you 3. So number 3, I'm gonna say is probably Jarris. Number 3 is Jarris.
Okay, yeah.
Jarris, because I think that power forward room is kind of iffy with Pascal, Jarris, and Obi. I think there's a logjam there. And I know Tyrese loves Obi. I know the team loves Obi. And I think he probably will be a Pacer as long as Tyrese is here. So I think Jarris does get moved down to the 3. I think he gets moved down to the 3 because Ben is starting. And we're going to have Aaron at the 3. And who is our backup 3? Did we really have one last year?
Our backup 3 was Ben Mathurin.
And that can't be the case now.
I know.
That can't be the case now.
So it's going to have to be Jarris. So Jarris is going to be your 10th guy.
I think we're going to go 10 man. We might go 11 this year. I don't know. We might go pretty big rotations, I think. Yeah, we might go. We have 12 playable players, I think, personally.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you got Murphy, you got Jay Huff, you got Wiseman. I mean, there's guys that can play.
And if Peter pans out,
Peter Pan?
Quentin.
Was that purposeful? Or did you do that on accident?
That was a dad. No, it was not purposeful at all.
If Peter pans out, that's hilarious. That's really good.
I will say this. Any member of the front office that's watching, give Quentin an actual contract. Please call that boy up. He's an NBA player. He is an NBA player. We know it. But in terms of Jarris, he's going to be the second shooting guard, small forward. He's going to be SF2. And I think it's going to be interesting to see from him because I think he earned Rick's trust in the last 2 games that he played. In the blowout loss against New York, where he played some pretty good defense, and in the game that we won to make the finals, where he was playing some good defense, and then he got hurt, and I think he like sprained his ankle or something. What was it?
Who are we talking about again? Jarris?
Jarris.
Yeah. When he went to go block Cat's shot, and he landed on his ankle and sprained it. Really bad. It was
sprained his ankle.
He turned on it, man. It was terrible.
Yeah, and then they were like, he might be back for game 3 of the finals. I'm like, no, he's not. No, he's not. Wishful thinking.
Chance.
You know, yeah. But with Jarris, he has. I think he won Rick's trust, and I think Rick will give him the green light. This not so much as a green light, but on the second unit when they play, because we might go full 5-man second unit rotation in the second or third quarter because we got nothing to lose. We might just see how those guys go. And with Jarris, I'm really liking his spot up ability, his rainbow 3-pointer. I love the arc on it. And this upcoming season, I want to see how he does on defense because I talked to this about with you and with Tony East in Summer League last year. I didn't see much of Jarris from the defensive end. He was a creator. And I never understood that because I was like, why would you be a creator in Summer League? You're not going to be that in the regular season. But now it's like I don't know if he was fully healthy, but if he was, I would have him play Summer League this year, but I'm guessing he wasn't.
Yeah,
healthy.
I think Rick said that he was back to action. Maybe that was with Tony East when he talked to him a couple of days ago at Summer League. Tony put an article out. But yeah, I think with Jarris, they feel like he's an NBA-ready player because he played 1,000 minutes this year, so they don't really need to see him in Summer League. And, I threw this idea out yesterday on the pod. We were talking about the depth chart, and I saw you talking about this as well when Rick Carlisle was on that podcast with Chris Long, and there was a clip that kind of leaked out where he
developed somebody else at the 2.
Yes, right. And so he didn't commit to Mathurin, and so we talked about that yesterday on the podcast, who's going to be the starting 2 guard if it's not Mathurin. And I said, I think it will be, but if it isn't for some reason, I could see them putting Nesmith at the 2 and then maybe sliding Jarris at the 3, and now you've got a super defensive lineup out there with
very large.
Yeah, it's massive, and Rick talked about liking playing with size, And Jarris is a secondary playmaker, and that's not something Mathurin is. And so you talked about all that playmaking that he did last year in Summer League. Like, that could be a reason why they want him to do it, is because when he's on the floor, they feel like they have another, like, floor general to a certain degree. And I think Pascal can do it. Obviously, Nimhard can do it. I don't think you're going to get any of that kind of stuff from Nesmith or Jackson. But with Mathurin, this isn't a guy that really is good at that either. He's more of a scorer. So
he's number 2. He's number 2 on my list. He's number 2.
Mathurin?
Yeah. He had number 2. We get to talk about that now? Yeah.
We're good. Did you have any thoughts on what I said about Jarris starting?
Yeah. I mean, my thing with that is that I think Ben, let's just segue this into Mathurin. I think Ben will start.
Yeah,
and I
agree.
think people took Rick's quote. I think people took Rick's quote out of context, but also didn't, because there is some truth in what people are saying, but there also isn't. Now, he said we're going to develop somebody else at the 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
He didn't say we're going to play somebody else at the 2. That would get me scared. I think as long as he's on this team for this upcoming season, Ben will be the starting shooting guard.
Yeah.
And I think, barring something that him and Rick had a really heated argument or he did something terrible, he's going to be in the starting lineup. Which is what people apparently think he did to Rick, where it's like, what did Ben do to Rick that he keeps taking his minutes away? I'm like, dude, just relax, you know?
He's very up and down, and like I think people don't realize that defensively is where he gets himself in trouble.
Oh my God, you don't know the conversations I've had with these people that are like, he kept us in that finals game, in that game 7. And I'm like, there were plenty of times during the season and during the playoffs where his defense was just not up to par.
Yeah,
and
he gets caught ball watching too much.
It's you know who he reminds me of?
Tell me.
Here it comes. Have you heard of Isaiah Ryder by any chance?
Yeah.
Isaiah Ryder. Yeah, Minnesota, between the legs dunk. He reminds me of him a lot. Incredibly gifted scorer. You could give him the ball, you could put him in the Sahara Desert, tell him find the bucket, he'll go get it. But he just can't defend. And it's not that he can't, he won't defend. It's not an ability thing. Like some guys, like Steve Nash, I'm like, all right, you know, he tries. But at some point, you can't expect too much out of him because he's not that quick and he's also small. That's the big thing with Trae, right? Trae Young.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I'm happy Tyrese got his effort up, because now he's at least a neutral defender. Right? With Ben, it's like you have so much. You could probably be an amazing passer if you wanted to. You're a great rebounder for your size.
For sure.
For your position, you're a great rebounder and hustle guy. You dive a lot more than you used to. But man, that defense, just pull your shorts up and just come on, man. Go up on the guy. He can do it. We've seen him do it. I've seen great defensive flashes from this guy. And if he could put that all together, because I think here's where I think people misinterested Rick here. I think they said develop somebody else at the 2. I think develop means that Ben will not be a Pacer past this upcoming season.
Interesting.
That's what I truly believe.
Yeah,
that's what I believe in.
I also just think that maybe Rick was so like fixated on talking about Andrew Nimhard at the time that when he said develop somebody else at the 2, he was thinking we've been developing Andrew at the 2. We got to develop somebody else at the 2. And I think that might have been what he was saying. But you got to remember, he talked for like an hour. And so when you're talking for an hour
he could have cleared himself up.
Yeah. You know, he could have, but he also maybe just didn't think 2 things about it when he said it. Because there's been times when I've said things on this podcast and I'm like, oh, I didn't mean to say it like that. It came across the wrong way.
Right.
So, you know what I mean? That is what I think actually happened. I don't really think he was trying to like lowball Mathurin, but I also think that it was one of those things where he's not going to be like, here you go, Mathurin, here's a job. I think he wants him to earn it because Mathurin
he definitely wants him to earn it. And for a guy like Mathurin, I'm like, he should earn it. He will be the starting 2 this upcoming season, but it's not going to be like Rick's. It's not going to be like Rick says. All right, if you average 10 points a game on really bad shooting through the first 10 games, you're still going to be the starter. No,
he'll make changes.
No, at that point, you got to start. At that point, you might go with the lineup that you said, the Nesmith at the 2 and Walk at the 3.
Hey, don't be surprised if you see Quentin Jackson get a start at the 2. I mean, honestly.
Oh man, that would be interesting. You
got more excited about that than Jarris Cammy. What's going on?
I mean, I really like Quentin. I
can tell.
He's awesome. He's awesome. I think Quentin with better PR would be seen as one of the best athletes in the league. Like straight up.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's good.
The guy's a jet engine.
He just needs more of an opportunity. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He kind of
So
kept us afloat in that start of the season last year,
he had
a
some
little
nice
bit, starting a
moments.
few games.
Yeah,
Yeah. The
we were
Pelicans
struggling.
game.
Ty was bad.
Yeah. But with Ben, I will say this. I think this upcoming season, doesn't matter what Rick thinks of him, doesn't matter what the fan base thinks of him. I think in terms of money-wise, and if we do want to save, and in terms of how this team will look and how this rotation will look and that one need that we have at the center, I think he's gonna be the odd man out. And I love Ben. And if he breaks out on another team, I'll love it for him because he has the talent to. But if he does break out this season, come the offseason, he wants a big contract offer. We can't give it to him. It might be time to be like, hey, we love you here. You're always welcome back here. Come to a game whenever you want. But we got a center on the market, and it's a little money downgrade, but we kind of have to do that. We got to stay lean. So, thank you for your services. It's time to go. But that's not me saying that Ben's a bad player, and that's not me saying that I don't believe in him. I
Yeah,
I definitely believe in him. Come on, man. I definitely believe in him.
yeah. For this
I
year at
believe in the
least.
guy, and yeah, yeah. For this year, this is staying for this year until I eventually get it autographed and hang it up. You
Yeah.
know,
The back of his jersey is how many years you think he'll play with the Pacers after this one?
unfortunately, yeah, and it's so nice. I said it twice in the
Yeah,
number. Yeah,
exactly. Well, I agree with
but
you. I think Mathurin is poised for a
yeah,
breakout year this year, and I was debating on having him 3 or 2 on my list. Um, I think we're probably both going to be in lockstep with number 1 here, but I'm curious who you have at number
yes,
1
sir.
for the player that you're expecting to break out.
Andrew,
Nimhard.
is it Andrew? Is
It's
it
Andrew,
Andrew?
man.
It's Andrew. Yeah, it's Andrew
There's just
for me
something
as well.
about him
Yeah,
at Summer League right now that just makes me feel like All-Star season potentially is in the cards for him, and
he's
if not,
hungry. He's hungry.
most
He's
improved
hungry.
player of the year. I mean, I think he is going to show the world how special he is as a player, and that's why when you were talking earlier, like I don't know if he can be the main point guard for this team. Like he's gonna realize how hard it is. I think, like you said, I think he's hungry. I think he's ready for this opportunity. And the more I think about it, the more I get excited. But I'm already a big Nimhard guy anyway, so you don't have to get me that excited to talk
Now,
about it.
now, see, you're putting words in my mouth because I never said I don't see him as the starting point guard for this team. I said long term, long
Yeah,
term.
that's the same thing.
Yeah. Well. In terms of
Like he can do it this year, but you
speaker
don't
all
think for a
day.
championship level team he can do it.
Yeah.
You were
Yes.
saying like you don't think
Absolutely.
he can be
Yeah.
what other people have said, like, oh, he could go lead another team. That's what I was trying to
Brunson
get at.
leap. The Brunson leap.
Yeah, I don't see it with
The
I don't,
Brunson.
he's not as offensively talented as Brunson. And
It's
I
not a thing. The Brunson leap's not a thing. It's happened to one guy, and it was Brunson. That's why they call it the Brunson leap.
yeah,
So with Andrew, I think he's my number one pick for most improved player, and that's from an unbiased perspective. That's
yeah,
from a completely unbiased perspective. Now, the reason why is I think Ben will take maybe average more points, but the Andrew will probably be the best all-around player on this team, out sans Pascal.
yeah.
Because Andrew, I could see him averaging 18 points a game because we've seen that he can average that much. We can see that he can go on heaters when Tyrese is not on the floor. Even when Tyrese is on the floor, we can
Yeah.
see him. We can see that scoring ability, come out of him. The little, what is that little step that he does? I forgot what it's called, but the get out of here step.
Yeah,
The
you're asking the
yeah,
wrong guy for that
yeah,
terminology
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
I just
But
want
you
to hit
know
him
what
with
I'm
that
talking
shoulder
about.
check.
You know what I'm talking about, the
Yeah,
shoulder check.
yeah,
Yeah, we see that, and we see there's some shooting ability. He shot 35% from the field, I believe, this past season and the season before, which is right on the brink of liability and good. And I think he has just enough offensive creation for defenses to respect him, but he can also shake loose and get his own shot. I think he's a good off-ball mover. And I think he still will have that defensive ability because I think our team is offensively talented enough to where he can still focus on defense. And in terms of assists, I think he's going to have the ball in his hands the most of any player on this team. And he's already a gifted passer. We've seen that. I mean, even at the start of his career, the first year of his career, first half year, when he was shadowing Tyrese, when he was coming off the bench before he started at the two,
yeah,
when he was shadowing Tyrese, I knew him more for his passing than for anything else,
yeah.
right?
I think him and Jackson
Yeah.
have pretty good synergy too.
Oh yeah, the little like fake floater into the alley oop
Yep.
dunk. Yeah, sick. Caitlin Cooper showed me that. That was sick.
Yeah.
But in terms of Andrew being hungry, he doesn't really say much. He's a very stoic face. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Alex Pereira, where it's like the stone face.
Yeah.
Just won't make much of a face. But did you see him his reaction after the interviewer asked him about Miles, and he said, "Well, we wish him luck in Milwaukee." He looked straight at the camera.
I did
Now
see
I
that.
know I know Andrew's not a very he's not a very emotional guy. He's gonna he's gonna
Stoic.
be straight faced no matter what.
Yeah.
Yeah, but looking straight at the camera, it's like that's
Deadpan.
me. You're probably wondering where I got here. It's
Yeah.
like a canon moment for him. That guy's mad. He's
Yeah.
angry.
Yeah.
And with Andrew, it's like if you get him angry, we saw what he did to New York. We saw what he did to Cleveland. We saw what he did to Milwaukee. We even saw what he did to the MVP.
Yeah.
If he has a full season of confidence and with a ball in his hands and Rick saying, "You got 82 games, buddy, maybe more than that. Go slice them up, go dice them up, go play that mixtape offense." Now we probably won't play that, but you know what I mean. Go be you. Go
Yeah.
be you. He's gonna have a really good year, and I think he's my number one for most improved player, and he's my number one on my list.
Yeah. Most likely to break out. Yeah, I definitely agree. I was going to ask you this because we know that with Tyrese, Rick has publicly said multiple times, like, we're not going to run plays. We're going to go out there and just play free basketball. But Rick, Rondo was the one that notoriously complained about Rick wanting to control the offense and control the plays and call plays and get stuff set up. I definitely think that without Tyrese, there could be a scenario where we see Rick have his imprint a little bit more on the offense this year, where he's calling plays for Nimhard to run, probably to get guys like Mathurin touches at certain times, or get Siakam touches in the post on a mismatch. I mean, just trying to find different things to do. I still think that Rick's going to be a little bit more hands off with how much he does call stuff, but I do think we might see him insert himself a little bit more than what he would have done if Tyrese were out there on the floor, just because I think Nimhard might need somebody to lean on a little bit now that he doesn't have that secondary ball handler out there with him.
Right, absolutely. And I think with the main guy going off the team, I mean, you saw with Phoenix when they ran the 7 seconds or less with Nash, and when Nash was off, they had Barbosa, right? And with Barbosa, even though he was fast, he was less dynamic than Nash. And I think it's a perfect comparison here. Barbosa and Nash, Tyrese and Andrew. I think it's a pretty good comparison. I think you have to be a little bit more hands-on with the guys now that their leader isn't here, and especially since their floor spacing and not especially, but also because their floor spacing center isn't here, and because they have to play with so much new things happening. This is going to be a hard season for them. I'm sure they're ready for the challenge, but I bet if you ask them, they wouldn't say. But I know that they're feeling this is going to be hard to get through because they don't have Tyrese with them. They don't have their center with them. It's gonna be a learning experience.
Mm-hmm.
So who better for that than one of the longest? I think at this point the longest tenured coach in the league, like in terms of just time he spent in the league. I think so, right?
I mean, I think this is his 24th year in the league, so I think
Yeah, yeah,
Popovich was
yeah,
the oldest and
absolutely.
he was next.
Yes. So
So
Rick, yeah. So the most tenured coach in the league, a guy who, let's be honest, compared to that 23 season to now, he's let the reins go a little bit.
yeah,
He just told them, "Hey guys, play your way." Now he's gonna pull on the reins a little bit. He's gonna be like, "All right, let me guide you towards this." It's like when a child starts walking for the first time and their mom just lets them go, but then they fall once, and then the mother's like, all right, go, go.
yeah,
Team mom. Tyrese ain't the team mom. Rick's got to be the team mom now.
yeah. Maybe Rick can get a wig and be the team mom
There
this
you
year.
go. There you
So
go.
that
There you
I
go.
would agree with your list of three. I would say maybe one other person I debated putting at three, but I was going back and forth between him and Jarris was Isaiah Jackson. I think that this could
Okay.
be a breakout year for him, especially if he can stay healthy. The opportunities there. He won't have Miles in front of him. He's the highest paid center on this team. If he does get in foul trouble, like you mentioned earlier, because he's been problematic for doing that, that could get him in trouble. He has added quite a bit of weight, so I'm very curious to see what he looks like in terms of how mobile he is, how fast he is. But I think he's going to be very strong. Not really sure what to compare him to, but Rick Carlisle had a lot to say about him today on Tuesday when he talked about him on the Chris Long podcast, talking about he's like one of the most, you know, breathtaking athletes he's ever seen. in terms of
He is.
the big man position. Said he's like a 6'10" defensive back. So I thought that was really interesting from Rick Carlisle to say that because he's seen a lot of bigs and he's played with a lot of different styles of big men. And so when Tony East asked him about Isaiah Jackson and like the center by committee and moving on from Myles Turner, he gave 3 words to Tony East at Summer League. He said, "We'll be fine.
We'll be fine.
So
we'll be fine."
I like that. I like the confidence from Rick, and I think that Isaiah could respond to that. So as we close this out here, Cammy, we've got a poster to take down. We got a few.
Yeah.
Don't let
that poster's going down just like this. The autograph that Myles gave me. This has been worn down as well.
Didn't he call you out by name?
He did. He did. That was on the other hat that I have stowed away because it has like 8 other people's signatures on it.
Gotcha.
Yeah. The good thing is I can wear this hat again and not feel guilty because the signature's gone. But yeah, I'll do that right now.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Cammy's away from the mic. He is pulling down the Myles Turner poster. All good things come. Oh, he ripped it in half. Oh, he is not happy right now, ladies and gentlemen. All good things come to an end, and the Myles Turner Pacers era is officially over with Cammy ripping the poster, just like they did with Turner's block at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. Oh no, Cammy just threw it. Very WWE-like.
It's gone. It's
gone. What are you gonna put up there now?
I think I might get I might get a Quentin Jackson one. I might get a J Huff one. I got plenty of stuff in the walls. I might bring out. Yeah,
this is like in Toy Story, right? Yeah. When Andy pulls down the Woody and he puts the Buzz Lightyear up. You got to take down Myles Turner, and you got to put up J Huff. He's your new Buzz.
Yeah, it's a growing experience. It's a learning experience. Look, we're gonna look back at this next year during training camp, and we're gonna laugh at it.
I know. Your wall looks a lot better. I feel like we did a lot better. We should have done the whole podcast like this. I feel better now.
We really should have. But this is a clip moment that you can put on YouTube Shorts, and I'll steal it from you so I can put it on my YouTube Shorts.
Okay, I'll definitely clip that for you, Cammy. So let everybody know where they can find you at on social media. And are you still writing at all for iPacers, or are you just kind of going back and forth?
So I am still writing. I have a piece planned soon. It's called "Are You Afraid of Change?" And that's basically me going into the fact that the Pacers are wandering off into the unknown now, and how, as a fan base, it is scary, and how it's normal to be scared and it's normal to be uncertain. How I'm uncertain. We're all uncertain about what's going to happen. It's kind of like when you lose a loved one, kind of comparing it to that, and kind of talking about how the grieving process, the healing process, about everything, because I've lost loved ones before. And I've lost favorite players before. This is the second time it's happened. So it's the third time. The third time it's happened.
Who are your 3?
So, well, it's probably the same as yours. It's Tyrese, it's Oladipo, and it's PG. But what I'm gonna say is he's coming back. That's also what I'm gonna say is there's a light at the end of the tunnel. And with the last 2 times, the light at the end of the tunnel was a train. This time, it's a portal to a better dimension. And hopefully we as fans, this is not just me previewing, this is just me saying to y'all. This is just me saying to y'all, we as fans, we can get through this, man. It's nothing we haven't been through before. We've been through 25 years of this, man. Some people I talked to in Indiana, they've been through this since the 70s. They can remember the ABA championships. I'm only 21. I can't remember that. I can't remember the last time this team won a championship. We'll get there together. I'm telling y'all, man. Whether it be with this core, whether it be with another one, Zero's going to take us there, and we'll all be there for it. So until then, watch out. You can find me on Twitter, CammyTrumpPTW, YouTube as well, CammyTrumpPTW. Articles coming soon. And hey, man, it was great being on here. Once again, unfortunately, there's no game tonight to keep the streak going, but maybe we'll win the first game of preseason. Maybe it carries on.
Maybe we'll win our next Summer League game. That'll help us.
There you go. Hopefully, Summer League title coming up. Hopefully.
I don't think we're going to get that with 2 losses already, but could get a nice win over.
We'll see.
I believe it's the Knicks who they're playing on.
Yes,
Thursday.
the Knicks. That's the last one, I think.
4:30, and then Friday night they're playing the Pelicans, and that'll wrap it up for Pacers Summer League. But Cammy, always great to have you on. Thank you for coming on once again and filling in for Facci. You did an excellent job. Gave us some different takes than maybe Facci would give us. So appreciate your insight. Like you said, follow him at CamatronPTW on Twitter. I'm at Alex Golden NBA. Facci's at _FACCI. And our podcast is at PacersPodSTP. And Cammy, you know how we end this show. If you're hoping the Pacers can figure out a way to have a great season next year without Tyrese Haliburton and Myles Turner. then hit us with those 3 words.
Let's go Pacers, baby.